Hey guys, Welsknight here, bringing back Subnautica. I have a new PC that finally is able to run this game the way that it's meant to be run, and we are starting this series back up. We're going to go into survival mode. I'm rebooting my Subnautica survival guide, and we're going to cover the basics because some things have changed from last time. I'll shut up for the cutscene.
In the late 22nd century, humanity is beginning to colonize space. Before colony ships arrive, habitation vessels are appointed terraforming missions. The Aurora was one such vessel. During its descent, the Aurora was struck by a mysterious energy pulse, resulting in catastrophic hull failure. A single life pod jettisoned prior to impact. You were in that life pod.
Alright, so we are stranded on an ocean, on an alien planet, and some things have changed dramatically about the game since the last time that I did a series of it, but some things have remained the same. So what we're going to cover in this episode is we're going to talk about how to survive the basics, food, water, basic tools, stuff like that. So the way that you actually gather food has also changed. It used to be that you needed, that there was several different things that you, ooh, I should probably get some air. There we go. It used to be that you needed fish and salt, and then you could also get some food from various other sources. That, for the most part, is still the same. Water, on the other hand, is different. No longer can you slash a air sac fish repeatedly and get basically an infinite number of membranes and then get water. That's different. Guys, for those of you who did not catch the original 3-episode series that I did on Subnautica, this is an early access game. It is still very far from release, so bear that in mind. You can find it on Steam. I want to say it's about $15 if I remember correctly. And honestly, it is a really, really good game, but it is definitely still early access, and it takes a pretty beastly computer to run. I had a custom-built gaming PC previously that was not top of the line, but it wasn't completely garbage either, and it could barely pull in 20 frames per second on this game. My new one is a little bit of an upgrade, shall we say. And I can, well, as you can see, this video is being recorded in 60 frames per second, maximum graphics settings, and all that good stuff. So anyway, we have ourselves a fish here. We've managed to collect some salt. Hey, climb the ladder. There we go. We have some salt in our inventory. You hit tab to open up the inventory, and it will show you all this good stuff. And we'll go over here to the fabricator, which is basically like your crafting station. We'll go to food. And you can see we now have discovered peepers, and we can cook up the peeper using that salt deposit we found and the peeper itself. And then when it's in your inventory, you can just eat it by clicking on it, and you can see our hunger refilled a little bit right there. Another new change is that you actually start with some items now in your storage. The items change from playthrough to playthrough, but it looks like we started with a sea glide, so we'll take that. The Sea Glide has also changed from the last time that I did videos of this game, as has scrap metal. Scrap metal can now be turned into titanium. Scrap metal by itself does not actually get used for anything. So we've got ourselves some resources. We've got ourselves some titanium. We do need some more quartz so that we can get silicon and use that to make a knife. So let's use our wonderful Sea Glide. You can see the Sea Glide is much bigger now in your vision than it used to be. But it also helps you move, at least what seems to be a lot faster than it used to as well. It actually seems like the Sea Glide does something useful now, whereas before it really wasn't a noticeable difference in speed. So that's a welcome change if you ask me. Let's see. Alright, so you got a little more scrap metal over here. We'll grab that. Ooh, this is a Seamoth Fragment. That will help us build the Seamoth. You need to discover the plans for it first. We've got ourselves some scrap metal. There's the last piece of quartz that we need. And we better get to the surface so that we don't drown from lack of air. There we go. And let's just see what else we can grab on our way back to the sub. You can see that kind of flashing... Oh, my inventory's full. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to be grabbing any more scrap metal. This flashing beacon you see in the distance, that is our escape pod. That's our escape pod that jettisoned us from the ship. So, we will come up here. Oh. Can I get up there? No? No, I guess not. Alright, well, we'll go back into the water and we'll try again. There we go. So we're in the escape pod. We'll go ahead and make ourselves another cooked peeper, because we're going to need to eat that. We'll make a couple of them, actually. Peepers are actually a pretty good source of food, especially in the early game. We'll go ahead and make some silicon, and then we'll turn all that scrap metal into titanium, because we're going to need that for a bunch of different things, such as the knife, which we will craft in a minute here. So the crafting system is broken down into several categories. You got your resources, food, equipment, tools, and advanced. And the advanced stuff is components and tools that are kind of late game, I guess you would say, or at least later game than just starting out. Stuff like the constructor, which builds vehicles and things like that. Now, we have titanium and silicone for a knife, so we definitely are going to want that. We're going to need that for a few different things. And we also have a lot more titanium that we need. So we'll go into our advanced here and craft a titanium ingot, just because that will compact the inventory space that's taken up down. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a public playtest of this game and actually talk with the developers a little bit. It was a lot of fun. It was a really, really cool experience. And one of the points that I brought up and that a few other people brought up is that inventory could be expanded, or at least some sort of like equipable inventory slot. They said it is something that they are considering and working on. As with all, or at least pretty much all early access games, everything that you see here is subject to change, guys. So keep that in mind. In fact, oh, come back. We'll get that air sac. We're going to need that for making water. In fact, the videos that I made just a couple weeks ago, just maybe a month ago or so, when I did my first 3 Subnautica episodes, a lot of that information is now completely out of date, because a lot of it's been changed. So that's part of the reason I'm rebooting the series, that and the whole fact that my computer can actually run the game now. Yay! That's a wonderful thing. So let's come back to our escape pod here, and I'll show you how to make water. So we've got ourselves this air sac fish, and that is used to make filtered water. And filtered water will restore a pretty nice portion of your health. We'll also grab another cooked peeper. And we will eat that. And then we've got filtered water. We can restore our hydration down here by, I believe it's 20% with that as well. Now these acid mushrooms, those will get used later. We're going to need those to make batteries. Actually, we have enough. We can just go ahead and do that right now. We will need a total of 6 of those and 2 copper. There's a nice humming in the background going on. That's part of the game. I'm not sure exactly what's causing it, but let's make 2 batteries here. And then we should... Oh, not quite enough for a power cell, but pretty close. So we'll put our batteries in here. Might as well turn this into titanium, because it takes up less inventory that way. And then we'll just head back out. There's that humming disappearing into the distance now, as you can hear. Let's go into our Sea Glide, which is what this is. It'll help me move around a little bit faster. You may notice that the light from the Sea Glide is also gone. There's no light here anymore, at least as far as I can tell. So that's a little bit different. And let's, ooh, there's some nasty critters over here. Let's avoid those. See what we can find. We've got... Oh, here we go. Finally got ourselves some limestone chunks. And also, the knife now lets you break these. And you can see that animation has changed. They're reworking some of the animations as we go along here as well. Get to the surface! Oh, almost didn't make it. Almost drowned right there. That would have been quite unfortunate. But that's alright. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more looking around. There's some salt. We'll probably want that for food. So we'll just get a little bit of that. I would love to find more quartz. One thing is that quartz is now used for so many more things than it used to be. Sand is really not used hardly at all anymore. So that's kind of important. Let's get this quartz, and then we'll get the quartz, and then we'll go for the surface. We're gonna have to, we'll make it. We'll make it. Okay. Whew, we made it. Alright, and then I guess we should probably grab a couple more of these air sac fish as well. Just for the water. We'll need water as we go, obviously. Very important. Oh, hey, come back, you. There we go. I think we've got enough of the mushrooms. Quartz you can never have enough of. As I said just a moment ago, it does get used for far more things than it used to. So we'll want to kind of stockpile that. And there's our little escape pod here. Let's go in through the bottom this time. There we go. Now, that humming is quite annoying. Quite annoying. We've got our Seamoth Fragment in here being analyzed as we speak. We'll make some more titanium. We've got our basic food and water supply pretty much set. I think we're good on that, at least for the time being. So let's see. I'd really like to build some additional stuff, like the oxygen tank, wherever the... Oh, there it is. Okay, so for that we need glass. So let's make some glass. And then right here we'll make ourselves an oxygen tank. And we now have the Seamoth blueprint. So now we can make the Seamoth once we make the constructor. But I think we'll probably save that for next episode. This all looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and let's just kind of clear out a little bit more stuff here. We'll just kind of do this. You can shift click, much like in Minecraft. I think I do want to make another titanium bar. One thing that I have noticed is that titanium is pretty easy to come by now, which is not necessarily a bad thing, considering that it's used for tons and tons of different stuff, but I always seem to end up with a massive quantity of titanium. Let's make some more filtered water, since we have those air sac fish. And then we will eat a cooked peeper. And we might as well drink the water just to restore our everything. That way it's all completely full. And now it's night. And one advantage of night is that it makes it a lot easier to find certain resources like quartz. Quartz becomes pretty easy to find. We're going to need a lot of glass for the various vehicles and things that you'll build throughout the course of the game. So we're going to get some of this quartz, especially since it's really easy to see right now. We'll switch to the Seamoth just so you can see there is no longer a light on the front of it. See if I can get this peeper. Oh, come back. Ah, there we go. Fish do still have a tendency to run into things and get stuck, which I suppose is not necessarily a bad thing because it makes them actually reasonably possible to catch, unlike before. You can see that my air supply is much higher than it used to be. I'm at 70. That's what that air tank did. It added 30 seconds. We'll get these Gary fish as well. They're pretty easy to... They're also a very good source of food. And then we're going to hit the Seamoth and go straight to the surface so we don't drown. There we go. And then let's head back to our sub. And then you can see that we've got pretty much everything that we need. We've got food, we've got water, we've got a sub that we can't get into because I can't climb ladders. There we go. And new fish discovered. That's this Gary fish right there. So if I come over here and I take some salt out of there, I can cook that up. And that's a pretty good source of food as well. not quite as much as the cooked peeper. So you're better off with peepers. But the Gary fish is not a bad source of food by any means. You can compare them side by side, 32.18. They both do the trick. And we'll go ahead and put some of this stuff in here as well. And then let's just take one final look and see the dive reel. That's basically like a lifeline, if you will, that will pull you back. Fins. Fins would actually be quite helpful, so let's grab some quartz so we can make enough silicon for that. Or silicone, I guess. There we go. So we'll make the fins. We can carry those with us. And those will increase our swimming speed. And that's pretty much your basic gear. You've got the Sea Glide, the fins, the oxygen tank, and the knife. And then, of course, food and water. The rest of this is all stuff that can kind of come along as you progress further and further into the game. But we are about out of time for this episode, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more Subnautica in the future. Let me know what you think. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time. So, we've got those two sides of the roof done. Now here, we need a little window thing. So we're going to put something like that.